Hello, happy Saturday, and today is the last day of the Issa Grace Kennedy Boys and Girls Championship. Welcome to Halftime TV. If you're new to the channel, remember, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel as soon as you hop on. We welcome your feedback and your suggestion down there in the comment section. All right, big shout out to the Halftime TV sponsors, Quick Link Shipping. Anything you need whatsoever shipped into the island, Quick Link Shipping has you covered. The telephone number, as you can see there on your screen, 876-454-1979. Now, why are we here today? I know today is the last day of the championship, and a lot of people are excited for the hurdles or the 800 meters or the 200 meters or even the relays for that matter. But we'll be getting to that a little bit later on. We're going to be live streaming. We're going to be bringing you live coverage from the National Stadium in the form of a watch along, obviously. But before we get to all of that, yesterday, and I think this is something that is concerning everyone. So everyone is worried about what happened yesterday at the championship. All right, bit of a background story. There was a slight issue with the track in the late afternoon, delay up to, I think, a little over an hour, and then the championship subsequently went on until minutes before 12 o'clock last night. All right, you heard that right. So the last event, Friday evening, finished approximately minutes to 12. All right, why are we discussing this now? I think, and this is my opinion, and the views expressed on Halftime TV are the opinion of myself only. All right, if you disagree, let me know what you think. If you agree, you can share that as well. Why are kids at the National Stadium until minutes to 12? The Television Jamaica did a feature where a bit of investigative work to study where the athletes are staying, and I think we can all agree that a lot of the athletes, especially those traveling from rural Jamaica, the living or the housing condition, the temporary housing condition or situation is not the best, is not the most ideal. Yet we have athletes still in the National Stadium at minutes to 12 on a Friday evening. Right? I think this is absurd. I think measures need to be put in place to ensure that we're mitigating against this happening in the future. I think prior there were concerns about the new schedule of the championship and the reshuffle, how it's happening now. Obviously, we had the 100 meters a couple of nights ago. We had the 400 meters. I think it was Thursday night, and then last night I think it was a 400 meter hurdles. But I think there are concerns about the schedule. There are concerns about actually crisis management, because in an incident or in a situation like that where we had a delay for over an hour, we shouldn't have the kids there. I think we need to have an alternative, all right? Because had it not been for a few loyal fans who are actually there to keep the athletes going, and because they don't want the athletes to feel bad, the media was tired. I saw several media personnel complaining on Twitter that they're ready to go home, they're tired, they're exhausted, but they don't want the kids to feel bad running in front of an empty stadium. People are exhausted. 11:30 on a Friday night, you have people sitting in the National Stadium waiting on events to go on. The bands eventually got exhausted. Just for a little bit of context, again, the night before, the final event was run, I think 9:30 Jamaica time, 9:30 thereabout. So I think we can't allow this to happen. We can't allow this to happen in the future. I think it doesn't benefit anyone whatsoever. Those who are carrying the broadcast. So Television Jamaica obviously has the broadcasting rights, but having the championship going until minutes to 12. Right? Remember, these are kids, Remember, these are kids, and we expect maximum effort from them. We expect the best performances from them. We can't expect to get the best performances from them if you're having them waiting. Yeah, you're having delays. You have all of this, and I know, and people will come on here and people will say, "Well, these things happen." Like if they're running in the Diamond League or if they're at the Olympics, there are going to be instances where they're going to be running late at night or early in the morning or whatever. Fine, right? And you can try and make an argument about that to make yourself feel good about it. But the mere fact is we cannot allow this to happen again in the future. I think we need to have mitigation measures in place or crisis management plan in place to mitigate against situations like these recurring. All right. We cannot have the Issa Grace Kennedy Championship going on well into almost midnight. It's like the pitney them run with dopey. That I don't know. That's the route it's going down, right? When they're supposed to be in their beds getting rest, when they're supposed to, it's bedtime, it's way past bedtime, and the loyal fans who they too want to go home, you know, they too want to go home, and as a matter of fact, they are the ones who actually give the athletes that extra impetus, that extra drive to go out there and to give their best, to give that 100%. But what happens when there's no one left there because people are tired and you can't leave, because most of the kids they can't leave on their own accord. They have to wait on the coach or whomever to say, okay, we're gonna go now. And as I said, this benefits no one, especially it is disadvantaging those athletes who are traveling from rural Jamaica, right? Sleeping condition or the temporary living condition is already not ideal. Why are we then having athletes at the national stadium 11:30 on a Friday night waiting to compete? That can't make no sense. And I'm curious to hear what you, the viewers, have to say, though. Let me know if I'm being too harsh. Let me know if what I'm saying is making sense. Because Friday night of the championship, and I'll go out on a limb and say this, Friday night on of the championship was so far the worst night so far. All right? It was so far the worst night this year. I think people lost interest. The delays were too long. And as a result of the delays, we had to sit up until, and if you're not in Jamaica, if you're in the time, for example, if you're in Canada where the time changed, so you're 1 hour ahead of Jamaica, it means that you were up until 12:30, 12:45, just to see what was happening at the championship. So it doesn't sit well with me. It doesn't sit well with me, and I think Issa needs to go back to the drawing board. They need to reassess their approach to this, and they need to put measures in place to mitigate against this happening again. It's one of those things where we say, okay, it happens, delays happen, and things happen that it's unforeseen. All right, I think they say unforeseen. We couldn't avoid it. Fair, but based on my understanding, this is a matter that could have been and should have been avoided. There was a problem with the track. It took a little bit longer to fix than expected, or a little bit longer to address, but that should have been planned for. All right, we can't act as if the championship is just some baka world or something that's happening without interest. There are so many sponsors, there are so many stakeholders, there are so many eyes, as a matter of fact. The world is watching, right? And I think on Friday night, Issa let us down. Yeah, we're putting it out there right now. Issa let us down on Friday night. I think that this is, and I say this without even mincing my words, this is the Issa Grace Kennedy Boys and Girls Championship, is the biggest high school track event anywhere in the world, right? You know what that means? That means you have people from all over the world paying attention to what's happening at the National Stadium in Jamaica. People want to see who's going to be the next Shelley and Fraser Price, who's going to be the next Elaine Thompson, who's going to be the next Usain Bolt. That's what they're focusing on. Scouts from all over the world are in the National Stadium. Scouts from all over the world in the National Stadium. Whether it's colleges, whether it's track clubs, you name it, they're in the National Stadium. Because they want the signature. They want to ensure that their finding or they get their hands on the next gem coming out of Jamaica. Right? We have athletes, as a matter of fact, from all over the world participating at the championship. And we saw the youngster from Kingston College, I think Kiprop is his name, securing gold last night as well. So if the national stadium is under such a spotlight, right? Such a spotlight, so many eyes, so much attention. So basically it's a focal point right now. And I think it was something that's expected because it's not something new. It's been happening years now, years. People, once it gets to March, if you like basketball, you're paying attention to March Madness. If you like track and field, you're paying attention to the National Stadium in Jamaica. Right? So I think it's a blunder on the part of Issa, and hopefully we don't see anything similar happening today, the last day of the championship. We have some big events happening today. We have 800-meter finals, we have 200-meter finals, the 100-meter hurdles. We have the relays happening later on this evening as well. So hopefully we don't see a repeat of what happened last night, where athletes are up until 12:30, 11:30 competing. Why? Because they want to ensure that their school gets the points on the board. They want to ensure that, hey, the scout that was sitting in the stands there, they see me at my best. And the fans are disadvantaged because they have to sit there. Well, they don't have to sit there, but they choose to sit there to drive on or to push these athletes to give their best performances. But again, I'll leave it at that. Let me know what you guys think. Is halftime TV being too harsh, or are my assertions fair? Do they make sense? That's basically what I want to hear. What are your thoughts on the situation? Slight problem with the track. Champs going on until almost midnight. Everybody in the stands exhausted. We expect the athletes to be exhausted as well. Exhausted, tired of waiting. Long day for most of them. Not the perfect temporary living conditions either. So, least opportunity they get, they want to get back some rest in. But again, I won't keep it too long. Leave your thoughts in the comment section. Remember, like, share, subscribe. Halftime TV saying see you a little bit later on when we'll be bringing the live coverage, live watch along from the National Stadium. We have 200 meters, we have the 800 meters, and we have the relays. Halftime TV has you covered for all of those. All right, so see you later. Little bit. Champs, Issa, no need to do better. Peace.